So my headphones broke and I'm wearing this and it's like pointless because my headphones completely busted. I do not know how the audio is going to sound. I am probably going to have to fix this. If we don't get this video up, it's because my thing literally broke. And I know it's my fault. Anyways, it's spooky time. Have you ever watched a horror movie and the opening credits are based on a true story? But you sit there and you go, but like, is it really based on a true story? Well, we're going to go down that rabbit hole. And here at the other side, because I want to know the truth behind The Haunting in Connecticut. If you've never heard about that movie, we're going to get into it. Let's go to the other side. Hello, welcome back to the other side. It's spooky, it's ooky, it's kooky time. Like I said in the intro, we're a mess, per usual. We're not getting this video out on time, per usual. We never have anything good going on. Why? Because we're always a mess. But anyways, we are going to be talking about the truth that lies in the 2009 movie The Haunting in Connecticut. And what you don't know about this movie is it actually has ties to Lorraine and Ed Warren. That's right, the Warrens worked on this case. However, the movie has no mention of them, and you would have never known that unless you went down the rabbit hole to figure out how true is this story. It claims again that it's based on a true story, but we all know that Hollywood wants a story that will sell and that will be good for profit. So you might take a story, you might change it around, and we see this all the time. We see it with the Harry Potter movies, the way that they adapted the books. We see it in The Wizard of Oz, and we can go down so many different rabbit holes. I mean, The Hunger Games, too. I know that we compare the books to what the movies are, and those aren't really true stories, but I'm just giving you an example of how, like, Hollywood likes to take things and, spin them around and everything like that. So I know that horror movies are no different. They take in more than the original story in order to add to the overall fan experience. They have more jump scares. They're a little over exaggerating on the demons or the ghosts. They want to make it sell. So that's something that you have to keep in mind whenever you're looking at these horror movies that are saying that they're based on a true story, because you have to understand that they want it to sell. They want it to do good in the theaters. To get muddled in its integrity. Look at the Amity House. The story compared to the Hollywood adaptation. Abdication. I don't know why that's a hard word for me to say right now. But things got played up, and it's hard to distinguish the reality in it. But when we get into The Haunting in Connecticut, the story's ending is really hard for me to believe. I was like, baby girl, this cannot be based on a true story. There is no way this is based on a true story. The movie starts with this boy named Matt going into treatment for his cancer, which this part is very true. The Snederson's son, Peter. So when we say Peter, we mean Matt from the movie, if you guys don't need to distinguish. Also, I should have said that there are some spoiler warnings up ahead. I'm so sorry. There are some spoilers because we're going to be talking about the movie. And we're going to talk about the real life. So if you've never seen the movie and you're not prepared for spoiler warnings, I'm sorry. Also, we talk about a lot of different things in here, so do be warned. I should have given a warning beforehand, but I have problems. So, anyways, the Snederson's son, Peter, just like Matt in the movie, does have cancer. He has Hodgkin's lymphoma. This part is very, very much true. However, the real family comprised of Carmen Reed, her husband Alan, 4 kids, Philip, Bradley, Alan Jr., and Jennifer alongside their niece, Tammy. But in the movie, it was the mom, the dad, Matt, brother Billy, cousins Wendy, and Mary. So the family dynamic is actually a little bit different than what you see from movie versus the true story. Now, the family had moved into this historic home of 208 Meriden Avenue in 1986. The movie accurately states that the family moved in that year to this new home. Another part was them looking for the place close to the hospital. The real one was Yukon Hospital for treatment. This part is true. So the family, the reason why they moved was because, again, his son has cancer and they needed to be close to where he was getting treatment. It's a difficult time with the drive back and forth. He was not making it, so the family had decided it's just easier for everybody. Now, the family in real life, just as the mom did in the movie, because in the movie it was the mom that made the rush decision. In this, the family made the decision, and they decided to jump on this opportunity for this house. They said it was perfect, it was big, it was great for them, right? But like I said, in the movie, it was the mom that made this decision, and she just saw this man putting a for rent sign outside, and was like, "Oh, I love it. What's the catch?" Right? We'll get to the catch in a second. But in the real life and everything like that, it was a 5 bedroom, 2 bath home with plenty of space. Everything was fine for the real family. Everyone picked their rooms with no fuss. It wasn't until the mom went to the basement where she found funeral items, embalming equipment, and other stuff in the mortuary. However, in the movie, Matt chose to sleep in the basement and was the one to discover through a partition wall the mortuary stuff. But it was a whole separate room. Now, in real life, they do describe how the basement was its own, like, not building, but it was its own thing. It had its own rooms in there and everything like that because it was a funeral home. So it was the basement downstairs that had that. The upstairs was a normal home. It was just downstairs that was different. Now, the real story was that Peter lived there with his brother, so they both slept in the basement. But Matt was the one that stayed by himself down there. Very different, right? And also, the basement in the movie is smaller than real life things, you know? Back to the real story. So the mom stated in a 2002 interview, the mom stated that she truly did not know that the home was a funeral parlor home. When she originally toured the home, the basement was not accessible due to renovation blocking the doorway. But in the movie, as we all know, she knew from the man of the home's past. She asked what was the catch. She found out about it. She hesitated on it. And it wasn't until her son could not hack another drive back that she made the rushed decision, and she did not tell her family until later. And it wasn't until Matt found that partition wall and Matt made that gruesome discovery, and the family had to talk all together and was like, "Hey, listen, we didn't tell you. This is what the home used to be, just so everybody knows. Now we all know, we're all good, right?" However, in real life, it was noted when contacting Daryl Kern, the home's owner, that he stated yes, it was Holland Hunt Funeral Home and it has been on operation for decades. But he stated that he told the family this information because they moved into the home. And this piece came from 1992. So in 1992, Kern, the owner of the home, stated, "No, I told the family. The family knew about this before they moved in, just like in the movie depicted that the mom knew this before they moved in, right? But in real life, they're claiming that they had never known this, that they were completely shocked over this." Now, I also want to make another further statement about the home when they moved in there. The boys slept in the casket display room down the hall from the embalming room, right? Which is like a crazy factor. I just had to like shamelessly plug that in somewhere. Now, in the movie and in the real life, both of them did find photos of the deceased people on the property. Both of them did find that. But in the real life, they found it with like toe tags and head bags. And in the movie, they found it with like their eyelids closed, or they found it like where it was just like their actual like day to day and everything like that. Now, again, let's go to the spooky stuff. So in real life, it was Philip, like Matt, who was seeing the spirits first. So that's accurate. So movie versus real life, Matt was the first one to notice the activity in the home. It was affecting him more. Now, again, the movie states that it was because of the fact that he had cancer and he was closer to death than the rest of the family. So the family wasn't really seeing that because they were not close to the other side. They were just, living life. And Philip slash Matt was like, "Well, I see these people, right?" Now, in real life, the person that Matt would see, Philip, was a young man with long hair down to his hips and would talk to him every day, but some days there would be threats. Now, in the movie, Matt was seeing Jonah, who had short hair and was burnt, and he was having nightmares. Now, eventually, the activity did spread to the family, just like it did in the movie. And the movie did feature this one incident that was a real life incident claimed by Carmen, where she was mopping the floor and the water had turned into blood. Carmen said that she thought it was fake. I just don't see how it would be possible. Carmen further stated that it made her skin crawl and noted that it was giving off a rancid smell of rotting flesh. Now, I personally find that hard to believe. Like, when I heard that, I was like, are you sure about that? Are you sure that she really experienced that? Like, I'm not trying to discredit anybody, but it's just so hard to believe that, like, water would turn into blood like that. You know what I mean? Maybe, again, it's the mind playing tricks on you. You never know. And that wasn't even the craziest thing that the family had claimed. They additionally claimed that unknown forces had sodomized them, which was not a thing in the movie. In the movie, the spirits clinged more to Matt than the family, which was half true in the true story, but the family was more tormented physically in real life. And in the movie, I feel like the family was just getting kind of like the residual stuff, and they were just seeing the spirits every now and then come to them, you know? But it wasn't really like to the effect that it had on Matt. Like, Matt's whole behavior changed in the movie, and the family grew concerned about Matt's behavior, and they couldn't understand it until later on in the movie what was going on with Matt. But in real life, Philip, he did have some behavioral changes. The family was concerned. They went to a doctor. The doctor said that he was schizophrenic, that he was experiencing delusions, and because of what the doctor said, the family actually sent Philip away from the home. So they didn't move out of the home. And that's something that a lot of people question, is why did they not move out of the home? Because they did not move out of the home for 2 years, but they sent Philip away, which is, again, not how the movie is at all. The movie has, Matt staying there the entire time, Matt being affected, Matt talking to the doctors about what's going on. And so a lot of people also, question that, because so the reason why they sent Matt away, I bet you're like, well, it can't just be because of like what the doctors say or anything like that, or what was going like on in the home. There has to be more, right? Well, in the movie, there was an incident where Matt was found on the floor, shirtless, scratching at the wall, bleeding. In real life, what had happened was that he attacked his cousin Tammy and caused her to stay in a hospital for 45 days. And that incident alone was like, okay, yes, we need to do something about this, because it's like, why? And when Matt moved away with his relatives, though, he stopped seeing everything. So Philip no longer reported hearing voices, seeing spirits, and nothing as soon as he moved away and was living with his relatives. The family had contacted Ed and Lorraine Warren with a priest performing an exorcism in the home in 1988, which that year they finally moved out and never returned. I was wondering, since they called Ed and Lorraine Warren over the activity of their home, why this was not part of the movie. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this is in parts because we had some problems. We've been having some problems, but we're gonna get this video up. So I was talking about how the Warrens were part of this case. The Warrens were initially the ones that were called to the home, and I think it's so crazy that the movie, again, they didn't highlight it. This is not something that Hollywood decided was worth highlighting, that factor. And I think it's crazy because the movie version feels very like heartwarming, and it does feel like it's trying to be like something else than what the real life version was. Because so real life, they had the Warrens, they contacted the Warrens were the ones that did the exorcism, the Warrens were the ones that were trying to help them. And in the movie, it was this priest, and his name was Nicholas, and Matt had met him during his treatments, and he had told him, you see these things because you're closer to death, essentially. And it was like an impactful moment, though. Like, I felt impacted by that. I was like, that's so true. Like, he's seeing this more because of the fact that he is closer to death and that he is very sick. So he's having that ability to see things. And then Nicholas eventually went and like helped out with the house, did the exorcism, he removed the bones. He was the one that in the end helped the family out and everything like that. And again, it just felt really like heartwarming. And it felt like, wow, like this really means something very deep than again what it originally was. So I've always just been really curious, like when I read about that, like why, and did the Warrens have any piece of the house in Connecticut with them in their occult museum? Because as you guys all know, the Warrens have a museum full of all their different cases that they've worked on. So I'm really, really curious to see if they have anything from this. So yeah, there is a lot of articles, just like I said earlier, that really doubt their paranormal experience. The original homeowner, Daryl Kern, had stated in that 1992 interview, furthermore, that he stated that all their paranormal activity only escalated when they were behind on rent. He discredited the family more by claiming that they are just after money, and to back up Kern with this, a neighbor named Catherine, who said it was all a hoax. Another witness said that Philip was a storyteller and he had to be the center of attention. 2 weeks prior to the Hollywood film release, more people had come out against the family, one of which was the new owners of the supposed haunted house. The new owners were Susan Torta Smith, who stated that they've lived in the house for 10 years. It's a wonderful house, and it's all Hollywood foolishness. The one part of the movie that I didn't believe personally was the ending. So like I said, they tried making this very heartwarming, and in the end, when Nicholas the priest helped out, he basically, like, Matt was possessed essentially. Matt was possessed, and the spirit came out of him. And when the spirit came out of him, his cancer came out of him as well. And so, like, the ending's basically like, it doesn't say it outright in the movie, but like you insinuate it from what they're saying, that like he was cured of his cancer after this exorcism, after the spirits left, after the spirit left his body, the spirit took with him his cancer, which again is Hollywood. It's not real life. The real life person, Philip, he did get his cancer to go into remission, and he was in remission and he was cancer free for a while, but unfortunately his cancer came back, and he unfortunately did die from cancer. So the cancer did come back. It's such a nice ending, but it's not a true ending, you know? And all the evidence in this really just states that, like, it's the family story against everybody else, because there's nobody backing the family up. Not even the Warrens, based on interviews and based on other people who have worked with the Warrens, say that the family has any validity to them. So I want to know, based on all of this, do you truly believe that the house in Connecticut is haunted? Or do you believe that they just thought this was going to be a good Hollywood movie and ran with it? And again, everybody's just discrediting the true validity story. Let me know down in the comments what y'all think. Please like, share, subscribe. I'm so sorry that these videos are not coming out consistently. We are going to be doing our best once I get my microphone fixed. Thank you guys for watching. Stay spooky, stay kooky, stay ooky. Have a very good one. Goodbye.